And again, I'm colorblind, so I'm trying my best here. But what might go best with gold? That is the other question. I know blue tends to go really well with silver, so that's why I like that blue tone. But what might go best with gold? Gold is a yellow. Uh, so typically things that complement yellow would be the best aspect, but we'll see what that is. Do apologize if you hear a dog barking. Again, new to streaming, don't have a lot of noise cancellation, which, by the way, that's one of my goals here. If you are enjoying the stream, enjoying what you're seeing right here, especially my little mess ups, so I keep going out of camera, out of focus, very, very sorry about that. But one of my first little goals is to get some noise cancellation stuff. Planning on getting some um, just things to help improve the stream overall. I am a beginner streamer, so gotta start somewhere, right? And while I cannot help the dog barking, I can help reduce the sound at least coming from him. So that is one of the goals. Thank you, dog, for the reminder of the little plug. But anyways, back to the painting. Am I almost done with the silver or the gunmetal? Probably not. Mostly because a lot of, or any of these kind of weapons that are going to be all strewn throughout the battleground, those are really going to have the kind of metal or metallic shine to them. So I want to make sure I get those. Now, some tutorials I've seen talk about or might mention of like just doing these in like a dark gray or something like that, which totally get. But I am very much in the area of my painting methods of, and I talked about this before, of that slap chop method. Slap chop is, kind of beginner to, I feel, medium levels of painters, just because it is easy, it is good to do, um, but it's definitely on the scale of detail, or I guess the quote unquote right methods to get down your colors might be not be the best. And I'm going to be washing this down, but I for me, it's easier to remember, hey, this thing needs to be silver if it's already silver to begin with. Um, Instead of like this dark gray, because I have gotten confused in the past of that dark gray um, being mixed in with other colors and just not being able to see what is what. Now I am trying to pick out some details that is within this mass of dead bodies, and I know I'm probably going to have to go over it again, but again, it's helping me see where this detail is currently, so I can go back over it later. Okay, so I think we're about done with the base layer of silver, or this gunmetal. I keep saying silver, which I mean, it is a form of silver. It's just a darker shade silver, is really all it is. And by the way, that is not my dog. That is my neighbor's dog. So again, I cannot do anything about the dog. I wish I could. Trust me, trust me, trust me. I wish I could, but alas, I cannot. Okay, so I think I'm generally done with his base layer. Okay, kind of show you what I'm dealing with here. On the bottom here, I need to kind of center this as best as I can. And then press it down flat. There we go. Okay. Yep. So you notice there is my Ko-Fi link. If you are interested or enjoying this stream and want to support me directly, you can do so through Twitch by doing subs, follows, stuff like that. But easiest way to help me buy coffee or just get kind of more better equipment and stuff like that is through Ko-Fi. Link is in chat if you would like to visit that. Alrighty, I think we're going to go on to our next step. We're going to look at the next kind of biggest mass, which is right here down in the bottom. And that is definitely going to be those, the mass of people, dead bodies down there. So we're going to switch up our brush just because I know there is going to be a lot more flesh that I think I'm going to have to deal with. And I could have used the same brush. Oh my gosh. You know what I just realized? Sword. That sword is definitely going to be metallic. Most likely Excalibur, right? So actually gold. But I said earlier, anything that's going to be gold is going to get that little metallic shine first. So I'm going to grab this real quick and then we'll switch over to that necrotic flesh for all of the dead bodies down there. That's the other thing. Yes, there would be a wide variety of people down there, and I can change that up and get to my later steps of actually getting in there. But this is just the beginnings here. Just the beginnings. Okay. Quick little thing to just get that going. All right. So now let's go get our flesh going. Quick little dab of it. Load up our paintbrush. And let's Bob Ross this. So again, a lot of what I'm trying to look for on this necrotic flesh are just those faces. I do want to try and pull up my brush. I might have to go back, I can remember, to get a lot of what's in there. If I make mistakes, it happens. Happy little accidents. Try and make sure I'm in view of the camera. Okay, definitely some nuggies here. I do really love Awakened Realms' attention to detail. There's so much detail in a lot of their models. It is very awe-inspiring of just how well we have come in the terms of miniatures. Just being able to say, oh yeah, hey, I have this mini etcher, but it's got this detail to it. It's very, very cool. Question might come up of how long have I been painting? How long have I been painting miniatures? I started really painting miniatures back in 2017. That's when I kind of first started. I started with Star Wars Imperial Assault was the board game I really wanted to paint. Love Star Wars. I love older Star Wars is kind of my go-to. I feel that's true for quite a lot of people out there, but definitely I am a old Star Wars fanatic. But I picked up the game Imperial Assault, and their tan miniatures for the heroes and the gray miniatures for the enemies just wasn't cutting it for me. So I said, you know what? I want to paint these. I want to have a good set of miniatures. And I guess that is textured. That's going to get flesh for right now. Happy little accident. We will correct that later. Right now, that is getting the flesh treatment. Anyways, started with Imperial Assault in 2017, and I had kind of a very weird uh, set of very beginner acrylic paints. I knew acrylic was going to be the way to go, but starting out, and this is absolutely okay. You know, if you are starting your journey, if you are here painting with me, welcome, welcome, welcome. But, um, you know, the type of paint that you have really does affect the outcome. So if you are starting painting, you can get some amazing results from craft store paint, not really digging on it. But when you do have the money and the time for some of these more, uh, I'd say, detail oriented, maybe that's not the right term for it, but when you have the money to splurge for nicer paint, definitely go for it because it does make a worlds of difference on just how it feels to paint with this. Like for me, I'm able to really get this paint moving around the models the way that I want them to. It doesn't feel splotchy, it doesn't feel like I'm needing to put a lot of force into the paint itself. It's just flowing the way that it needs to. So, really, really enjoy this aspect of painting, and especially painting with this kind of paint. Okay. Again, it's not going to look the prettiest at the moment in terms of colors. That is where we will get into the details later. All right, getting on some of this flesh here. And again, I might change my mind later on of just what is flesh, what isn't flesh later on. I said later on twice in a row. Um, but that's okay. Bob Ross it. Happy little accidents. Sometimes when you paint over something, you notice details that you didn't notice before. That's another cool thing about looking at these very large miniatures is being able to one see what is formed here. And then when you